Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hatchet Lounge, and today I'm joined with just Nikhail, and we're gonna talk. Hello Nikhail. So we're gonna give you a quick roundup of last week, and we're gonna give you a preview of this week's fixtures. So Nikhail, what do you think of last week's fixtures? What stood out to you?
So obviously a couple of things stood out to me. A couple of big upsets in the first game week. Obviously, we saw United crumble at the hands of Brighton, and also Liverpool against Fulham. But obviously, my team Arsenal off to a great start so far. So that's pretty much my takeaway from the first game week.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal's. I watched that very closely because it was the only game on at the time, right? So it was quite interesting because I think you guys started off really well, but then tailed off a bit. Would you agree with
I
that?
think so. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think after the first goal, we sort of settled off a little bit and let Palace take a little bit of control. Whereas when we played them last season away, it seemed like it was us that wanted more of the ball, but we just couldn't. Like when we had it, we couldn't make anything materialise. There wasn't enough creative output because we were lacking Partey. We didn't have Tierney available, and yeah, our offensive output or progressive. Our progression of the ball, turning defence into attack, wasn't very good. This time around, I think it was much better. We had a lot more available players and a lot better individual performances, which I was really pleased about.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have to say about Arsenal. I was really impressed with Gabriel Jesus, even though he didn't score a goal. I thought he was playing really well.
Yeah, his work rate is definitely incredible. Like, if you look at his first chance, I don't know if you can play it because copyright and stuff, but
Yeah, I'll try
yeah.
playing it. Yeah.
If you can, yeah, because it was only 3 or 4 minutes. The one that he set up all by himself, and then Martinelli missed the sitter. You can just see his work rate's incredible. The Palace defenders got about 3, 4 touches in the process. He just kept on going, and then he got a shot away, but it wasn't the best. So, yeah, a little bit more end product, and I think we've got a really, really dangerous talent on our hands.
Yeah, he was amazing. And speaking of Martinelli, I think he played really well, just except for that sitter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like he always gives it like absolutely everything. Especially when he has the ball, we all know how dangerous he can be in the wide areas, or also operating in a more creative way, as we've seen Smith Rowe do more of the time. But obviously, out with injury at the minute, Martinelli seems like he's locked in his position in the starting 11. So we'll see how Smith Rowe progresses back from injury and if he can fight
Okay.
his way back into the team.
Right. So let's just switch it up a bit and let's talk about Man United versus Brighton for a bit because I want to enjoy something.
Yeah,
So
me too. Let's go.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you watch the game?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't. I can't lie. I didn't pay too much attention to like strategy or anything, but I know enough.
yeah, I watched the game and I thought it was quite spineless from Man United. They're just not the team that they used to be. Um,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
yeah, they've really fallen from grace, and since they've gotten fans back, I think I heard I've heard one pundit say this that I think it was Roy Keane, that once they used to be able to come back because there were no fans, but now that the fans actually boo them when they start losing, they can't do shit.
I guess that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, United fans are always very quick to turn on their club whenever something goes wrong. But then again, in previous seasons, I always see them like go a goal down and they'll win 3-1. They just don't seem to have that fighting spirit anymore. They just seem very dead as an entire team. The work rates don't seem as high as they used to be. And when 37-year-old Ronaldo is basically your main output in terms of attacking threat and also goals, I think that speaks volumes about the quality, or rather the chemistry of the rest of the team. Because you look and you've got some, like, if I tell you the names of these players like last season, you'd say, "Oh, what an incredible team that could probably win the league." I thought they could win the league last season, right? And now with the addition of like Sandro Martinez and Ericsson was like decent, but Martinez got bullied. I think the height is a serious issue, and he was like lacking seriously physically against Welbeck. So I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, that was perfectly stated. You mentioned how the fans are often quick to turn on Man United. It's actually been trending on Twitter recently that they want to boycott the Liverpool game. It's like say no to Old Trafford or something like that. So they just don't want fans to go in and watch the Liverpool United game. Like they want
Would
to
you
just
say that more because if they start booing when they lose, or because they
no
just
the
don't want to show the support for the team?
no. The reason they want to boycott the match is to get Glazers out.
Oh,
Yeah, they. I think this has definitely sparked a huge uprise and negative press for them.
the thing is, I don't understand the United fans' issue with the Glazers. If you could explain it to me, that would be great. Because it seems like they do invest like into new signings and stuff like that, and they have made a few marquee signings in the past few years. I'm struggling to understand, like, from an outsider's perspective, someone who's not a United fan, like, what exactly they're doing wrong.
Yeah, I'm also an outsider's perspective. But what seems to me is that the Glazers take money out of the club rather than pump it into it. So they've taken like quite a few loans and they've contributed to more debt for Barcelona, Man United. Also, I think the structure that they've put in place is quite criticized. Obviously, we know Ed Woodward, who was there for the longest time. He was a source of ridicule. So just generally, the way they've set up the club has led to a lot of toxicity behind the scenes and essentially setting them up for failure. That's what I think their thing is for the Glazers.
Yeah, I kind of see that, to be fair, but not to dive too deep into the economics of it. But at the end of the day, every owner of a football club, it's an investment, right? So surely, if they want to be generating profit from it, they're going to have to do something in that way. Although, if you think about how big United is as a club and as a fan following, like, it's probably the biggest club in the world in terms of like fans all around the world, and like probably shirt sales and stuff now with Ronaldo on board. I don't know, is there a really reason for them to be taking money out of the club? Probably because it's generating so much revenue, but pretty rich, got other revenue streams.
Yeah, I think they have a few other revenue streams, but most owners tend to not take as much money of the club. I think it's more the amount that they've taken rather than the fact that they've taken it. Because if you look at Bowley this year, he's actually taken a loan in favor of Chelsea, obviously because he's just bought them, but that's an example that the fans want. And also, I think it may also be a bit of the backlash, like as pent up anger I meant, with the Super League still, I would say, because
Okay.
yeah, I would say that may be one factor, because he was actually one of the driving forces. Like if you look at all of our club statements, Arsenal, Liverpool, they all quoted the Glazers. Like there was a Glazers quote on all of our websites about the Super League. So I think because there was the American owners that really, like all the American owners of the Premier League that really pioneered the idea, help for the Premier League teams at least. So yeah, that's the main reason for the outrage. But I think that's enough talking about Man United.
Yeah, let's not go off on a tangent about United. As funny as they are to talk about, and as much of a joke of a club as they are, let's move on to the other joke of a club in match week 1, Liverpool FC. Alexander Mitrovic proving that he can do it in the Premier League. What a surprise. What do you think?
Okay, so I watched that game very, very closely, and I was very, very sad. We weren't like we normally were in the first half. We were clearly struggling. Henderson had another bad performance, which we're starting to get used to now, which is honestly a sad moment because he is our club captain. Then to further pile on to our misery, we have I can see your phone. To further pile on to the misery, we have Thiago out for the next 6 weeks.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, Thiago's out for the next 6 weeks. He pulled up with the injury. But one positive is when Harvey Elliott did come in, we looked like a lot more lively of a side, as well as Darwin Nunez, who was amazing. That goal was great, and that assist was not that good, but we'll take it. He really has a different dynamic with the Liverpool front three that we can definitely exploit, and teams aren't expecting. But one area that we have noticed is Liverpool's like how thin we are in midfield. We have Ox out, Keita out, now we have Thiago out. That mainly leaves us with Fabinho, Henderson, and whoever. It's one youngster. It's gonna be either Harvey Elliott or Fabio Carvalho. That's why a majority of our Liverpool supporters have been rallying or trying to make a decision. Would it be better for us to sign like a short-term option this year, or like wait it out and next year make a massive run for someone like Jude Bellingham?
Hmm. I mean, do you really think that the next 6 weeks are going to be an absolute struggle for you guys without Thiago? Did
Um,
you feel like it was more the midfield battle that you struggled in against
yeah, I
Dortmund?
think it was definitely the midfield battle, especially if Henderson doesn't play as well as he
Mm-hmm.
can, because he's not played at that level consistently. In terms of big fixtures, the main thing is Chelsea in September, which is in that 6 week period. Because if we remember, the season's really condensed because of the World Cup, right? So long term injuries will have a bigger impact than we think compared to previously. I
Yeah.
think that 6 weeks would just about take us to Liverpool versus Brighton. Liverpool versus Brighton,
Okay.
or right before that. So in total, Thiago would have missed about 7 fixtures.
I see.
Yeah, because there is a double game week in there. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, no, because the World Cup.
I
Yeah, because we have to.
guess I got to start playing FPL for that. Um,
Yeah, no. So Liverpool, we didn't play as well. Virgil van Dijk was not his best performance in the neither was it Trent. He was caught defensively lacking for that Mitrovic first goal. He took advantage of Mitrovic took advantage of Trent's jumping reach, went out of the back and scored a header. It was quite yeah, it was good. It was really difficult for Trent, and he got a lot of slack for that. But I don't think either Kyle Walker could have could have prevented that either, because Kyle Walker can't even keep up with Mitrovic in the air. Neither would Cancelo or any other, or maybe Reece James. But yeah, it's
started to get a little bit salty there, Sparsh.
no.
You
All I'm
alright?
saying is, Trent got too much flack for it. Like it, no fullback. Not a lot of the fullbacks have really good jumping reach in the Premier League.
No, but you say that, right? And then you look at like the overall defensive ability of Kyle Walker. Like he is rapid. The recovery runs that he can make, the last ditch tackles, all of that thing, all of those sorts of things. Obviously, he's probably not as good going forward as Trent.
Not in the same stratosphere going forward.
All right, you done?
Yeah, yeah, I was specifically talking about that goal.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's what all I have to say about Liverpool.
Right. So, what other fixtures happened in match week 1 that we want to cover,
We can
if
just
any? City versus West Ham,
yeah,
big one.
City. Okay, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can. I sort of walked out of the game about 70, 80 minutes. I just got bored, right? I feel like City look like a bit more of a traditional side now rather than like tiki-taka and cat ball. They seem a lot more relaxed in possession. I mean, as they always have been, but you can see like the passes between the lines and those sorts of things. They just sort of come as part of the flow of their attack, and they're not really um, as incisive as they used to be. They can be a lot more relaxed and still be as effective in attack. And it looks like, yeah, as you'd expect, Cancelo was a massive threat going forward and was still like fairly solid defensively. Um, and it seems now that whilst this was always the case, but more than ever now, you'll see how narrow this City formation is, and that's why they like to play a lot more through the middle in the midfield rather than using the wide outlets. And then once they progress to the final third, you'll see the wide outlets being used in what's his name, Grealish, and who played on the right? I forget now.
Foden, right?
Yeah, Foden. They got used a lot more, but they also use the half spaces a lot more to receive from like people like De Bruyne. Um, and that is what I noticed during the game. West Ham had absolutely no chance. City just completely dominated, possession wide, offensively. West Ham defended well in some areas, but obviously the presence of Erling Haaland is enough to do the damage.
Yeah, what a turnaround! Like in 1 week, we thought, okay, he will struggle to adapt. The other, he scored 2 goals against West Ham, one being a penalty. And after the post-match interview, did you see that? Did you see his post-match interview?
The post-match interview is quite funny to be fair. I think that is definitely like one front that he struggled to adapt on. Like the English media have got to prepare for him to be as nonchalant as he is in his interviews, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, no,
He's like an AI. I think he's just so much.
yeah, I know. He also said that he just moved on to the one error that he had in the game, right? Like he should have scored that. So this is just insane, that mentality from him, and I really think he's gonna do well in the Premier League. Now,
Yeah.
especially if he's on
But then
pens.
again, yeah, that's true. I mean, he might not always be on pens for City.
I mean, who else will take it? Mahrez?
De Bruyne, Mahrez, or Sterling's gone, so De Bruyne or Mahrez.
And De Bruyne was on the pitch, so I reckon Haaland will take
Yeah,
it.
okay, that's true.
Huh.
Alright, so that is match week 1 pretty much covered. Arsenal looking up, Liverpool not so much, but maybe this is just a blip in the system and they'll be back. United, we really don't know, and City is strong as usual. So moving on to what we think is going to happen in match week 2, Sparsh, you want to get us started?
Okay, so do you want to go player by person by person or fixture by fixture?
I think we do it fixture by fixture because if we do it like person by person, it'll take forever.
Okay, so let's go for Villa versus Everton first. Who do you have, Nikhail?
Okay, I had Villa to win 1-0,
Okay.
simply because I think Lampard and Everton, their attacking output isn't as strong, and I mean I think neither team have that just as yet, and they haven't shown that in the opening weekend. But I think the quality of players that Villa have over Everton, or in comparison to Everton, I just feel that they might edge it. I haven't paid close attention to either team, but that's just my gut feeling.
Obviously Villa had a disappointing game week 1. They lost to, I think, Bournemouth 2-0.
Yeah.
But I still think they can prevail over Everton, because Stevie G versus Everton, I think he's gonna be a bit more motivated, and I think the Villains will do this. They will win 2-0. If we look at some our others, so Karan also predicted 2-0 Villa win versus Everton, and Thomas has predicted a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Next fixture: Arsenal versus Leicester.
Yeah.
So, interesting news about this one. I will be going to the match and watching it live on Saturday, 3 p.m. So, what I'll try and do is I'll try and get some clips from the game and just do a matchday vlog and make some content to put up on here.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that, but that's no guarantee. Remember, he just wants to enjoy the match.
Exactly.
Okay, so who do you have winning?
So obviously I got to go with my gut and I got to go with my boys. Arsenal, I've got us to win 3-1. Simply because I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet this time around. Leicester, they look very good going forward, especially against Brentford. You saw, I didn't watch the game in full, but from what I saw, their attacks that led to both goals seemed like they really have a lot of like attacking threat as a whole. And I don't know if our new shaped backline will be able to cope with that. I think defensively against Palace, we had to be very, very aggressive in the box, and arguably there were 1 or 2 penalty shouts that maybe should have materialised. But I think with time, our defence will get a lot better. I think Saliba is definitely one to watch. He was an absolute machine against Palace, and I think he'll still be very good against Leicester. But I think they might score.
Luckily, all or nothing is with Arsenal for this season, eh? Otherwise, Saliba in the locker room.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, that was ages ago, to be fair.
In R21, all or nothing.
Oh, wait, is that in All or Nothing?
No. Why would it be in all or nothing? I'm saying if they were doing an all or nothing this year, that's what it would have been. R21. Yeah. So I predicted Arsenal to win 3-0. I think your defense will do well against Leicester. I think they were a bit lucky to score. I think it should have been like not been 2-2, maybe 1-1. or maybe even 0-0. I don't think either team was that great. Brentford did surprise me though. I thought they would struggle a bit more. So I think Arsenal will win 3-0. We spoke about their strengths, so there's no need to cover that anymore. But let's look at what the others predicted them to be finished, right? So Thomas again.
Thomas, you're trying to be different, man.
Yeah, okay. Thomas put Arsenal 1, Leicester 1, and
It's gonna come back to haunt me now.
yeah, please let us know how that goes. And then Arsenal 3, Leicester 0 by Karan. Yep, that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's move on.
Should we just go through like the bigger fixtures and like ones like Southampton and Leeds or like?
Yeah, I'll have them up on the screen if you guys want to see them. But let's go through the bigger ones. So, Man City, Bournemouth.
I think we all had like massive thrashers put down for this one. 5-1, 4-0, 5-0, 3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah. How do you feel on Bournemouth? Obviously, that's your secondary club.
Well, yeah, but now that they're in the Premier League, I can't really, you can't support two teams in the same league, can you? So sort of like let go of that. I mean, when they go back down, if they go back down, then that will be rekindled, I guess.
I mean,
but honestly, I think City is just too good for anyone at the minute.
You did predict them to finish 12th, so maybe, you never know.
Yeah, I said if they go down.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, specifically, Karan said 5-1. Nikhail, you said 4-0, right? I said 5-0, and Thomas said 3-0. The next big fixture, let's look at Brentford versus Manchester United, if we can even consider that a big fixture anymore. Yeah, so, you want to shed some light on that? What you predicted?
Yeah, okay, so I said 2-2, simply because I have no faith in United anymore to do anything. Like, it's almost like comedic, the performances, and also just, I don't know, it seems like there's going to be another upset on the cards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've gone with 2-2. I don't think Brentford will win, but I don't think United will be too good either. I feel like Brentford might go 2-0 up. Ronaldo comes off the bench and saves them with a brace late on. That's what usually happens.
Okay, well, I think that Man United will win this one. If they lose their first two games, I think that will be really, really bad for them. And I think Ten Hag will give them an absolute whooping after they lost to Brighton at home. Because the one thing you have to respect about him is that he is trying to change the club. He's implementing fines. He's like making the players like take accountability. And if they do implement that stuff and they are playing Brentford, they'll win 2-0 in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, if we look at the others, so Kron said Man United will also win, but it'll be 2-1. Fair enough. And yeah, Thomas agrees with you, Nikhail.
Whoa.
Yeah, 1-1. Is that a good sign for you?
I mean, you never know. But moving on to Chelsea and Spurs, one of the bigger fixtures for this weekend for Spurs. Chelsea and Spurs. Okay, so I said that it would be a draw. I don't like Spurs, but they're very good, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I said 2-2. Chelsea, I didn't pay too much attention to their game. I was out while it was happening, so I don't really know how they played and stuff. But I'm just going to go 2-2.
Yeah, Chelsea were really average against Everton. They only scored one goal through a penalty. Yeah, that was very disheartening for Everton because like right at the end of injury time in the first half. So it was, obviously you're gonna feel disheartened at that, and that's not convincing either. But I still have Chelsea to win because I think like when you're playing that derby match, you may have like some little element which spurs you on. So people like Mason Mount, they can either take that use that to elevate their performances, or it can go absolutely horribly. And I think I think Mason Mount and Chelsea are gonna channel that, and they're gonna win 2-1 against Spurs. Yeah. So let's look around to the others. Karan has predicted Spurs to win 3-2. And oh god, I agree with Tom. Thomas has put 4-0 to Chelsea. It's gonna be
Spot
fun.
on, to be fair.
Yeah.
All right, Liverpool and Palace. Let's see what we're all saying. So I think the general consensus is a Liverpool win here. Sparsh, do you want to explain your prediction?
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
the same
So.
prediction?
I put Liverpool 3, Crystal Palace 0, and while that seems like a comfortable scoreline, I don't think it will necessarily be. The performance won't be as dominant as the scoreline reflects it, because Crystal Palace are a pretty decent team, so I expect them to fight back at and I don't know if I don't remember if it's at Anfield or Selhurst Park. Let me check that real quick. It's at Anfield. Okay, so then yeah, it's definitely a 3-0 win. We're gonna cruise through it. I feel if Henderson plays well, then yeah. If he doesn't, we could see a 2-0, 1-0, but I think he will so play well. So let's go for 3-0. Nikhail, you?
I went with 3-0, but in retrospect, I want to go with like maybe 3-1 or 4-1. I still don't think that. I mean, Liverpool's performance defensively against Fulham was not convincing. But when you look at the type of attackers that Fulham have versus Palace, Palace have more like players who play with more flair rather than aggression. Fulham, on the other hand, have players like Mitrovic who are just like full-on aggressive, pressing, physical, that sort of thing. You look at Palace, Eze, or at least is injured, I think. But you got Zaha. They're all more technical players, lots of skill, lots of flair. So we'll see how the fullbacks, Trent and Robert, will handle that. I reckon Robert will be alright. Trent, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, you actually touched up on a point I forgot there about Fulham's aggression. So yeah, that's one thing teams can exploit if they are like really take the game to Liverpool and try to fight and combat them. That can definitely be an issue for us, and I think Fulham definitely did exploit that. They were really pressing us, didn't give us enough space as we normally get, so that made us struggle. So if Crystal Palace do that, yeah, I can definitely see us conceding. But yeah, let's look at what the others predicted. So Nick Kron also said 3-1, or as you wanted to change
3-0.
it. He said 3-1.
No, he said. Oh yeah, sorry, he did. My bad.
Yeah, and Thomas said 2-0 to Liverpool. Yeah, I would also like to say Thomas said Player of the Week Mane. We didn't ask for Player of the Weeks, but that's good to know. Thomas still thinks Mane plays for Liverpool. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you guys could probably deal with him.
Hey, Nunez was good. Okay, he was playing in the.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about Nunez, mate. I'm talking about Diaz. He's all flair, no out. Like,
Maybe that's what we need with Nunez. Maybe Nunez will be the one who actually gets
the
output.
output.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Because Diaz was playing for the majority of last season with Mane, right? So it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all we have to say.
All right. Thank you for joining us on this very short, wasn't too short, was it? Episode of the Hat Trick Lounge, and we'll see you again very soon with my matchday vlog.
Yes. Hit that subscribe button and see you next time.